Hi, I'm so glad you've joined me for the Hibiscus Swimsuit Sew Along. I am Sharon Aguilar and I blog at www.sweetmamalife.com. This is a video for constructing view B of the Hibiscus Swimsuit. I just wanted to quickly show you the pattern pieces for if you're doing a view B that you'll need to cut out. You will need this is the front top, this is the back top, and then you'll need a front bottom and a back bottom. Those are your essential pattern pieces. Beyond that, if you want to do any flounces, there are pattern pieces. Let me show you those. You can do flounces. Those are optional if you want to or not. You can also do a waist ruffle. I don't demonstrate the waist ruffle on this video, but if you need help with ruffling, I do show the ruffle for the view A side ruffle on the view A video. That's before this one. So that shows just me gathering. So I don't include that in this video. So you can watch that on that one if you need help, or you can message me if you have any questions about that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so on view B of the swimsuit, we are going to start with constructing our bodice, and I'm doing mine fully lined. So to do that, you will need to cut out one on the fold on your front of the lining, as well as of your main fabric. And then you'll want to do the same on the back. Now, if you're not lining, then you just need to cut one on the fold of your front and back, and then you'll sew them right sides together like this. So you would just put this on top of this and sew this seam right here. But if you're lining, you're going to start with, you're going to put the right side up like this on your lining in your main front, and then you're going to put your right side down on your lining on your back like this. You're lining up your side seams, and then you'll put the main of your back right side up, and then you'll put the main of your front right side down like this. So you'll have all 4 layers together. So just to list each label I have, or to label each layer, I have my front lining right side up, my back lining right side down, my back main right side up, my front main right side down. And I'm going to clip my side seam. So I'm going to clip right here, and I'm going to sew the bodice side seam. You're going to use a 3/8 inch stretch stitch for this seam. I'll use my serger to sew it, but if you have just a regular machine, you can use a zigzag stitch on your regular machine, or any stretch stitch that you have that works well on swim. Okay, so I have sewn this with my serger on the side seams, and now I am going to flip this around to where the lining is touching each other and the main fabrics are facing out, and the main bodice is constructed. So now I'm going to add elastic to my side. Since you don't do the side ruffle on view B, you just need to put elastic there. So I'm going to just open this up like this. So I'm just going to open it up to where I can lay my sides out in a straight line. I'm going to open it up like this, and I'm going to baste all of this because I need to put this elastic in, and it's going to be so much easier to stretch this elastic onto the wrong side if these layers aren't shifting all around. So in order to baste them, I'm going to go to my machine, and I'm going to sew just with a really long straight stitch. I'll put my machine on the longest stitch length that it has on a straight stitch, and then I'll just quickly baste all my layers together. Okay, so I went ahead and basted every single edge so I can just treat it as one piece. And now I'm going to be putting my elastic along each side. So I cut it out according to the chart, and I'm going to pin or clip, I like to use clips, the elastic to the front in the beginning, to the front in the beginning, to the beginning and the end. I must be getting tired if I'm saying the front and the beginning. Okay, so I'll pin it on both, and then I'll just stretch it evenly between these 2 points. So again, you can put it on with your serger or with your regular machine using a stretch stitch. And I'm just going to, it's just a slight stretch. It's not a very wide stretch. Apply it onto the seam. Okay, so I have my elastic applied, and you want to do, you know, most of your stretching on this curve part. Now I'm just going to fold it to the inside and top stitch it down. So I'll top stitch from the inside. So I'll fold it under and I'll go and top stitch. I'll also remove my basting stitches, but only on this area, not on the entire suit. And then when I top stitch it, you can use your cover stitch. I'll just use a quick zigzag on my sewing machine. I like to set my length and width between 2.5 and 3. Okay, so now I have my side elastic done, and this is what your bodice should look like. If you are doing the ruffle at the top, well, it's not a ruffle, I'm sorry, it's a flounce. So you'll want to cut that out. You're just cutting one of those. And here's the pattern piece. It's pattern piece number 7. And that one is cut on the fold. So you'll fold your fabric and cut it there. When you cut it out, you want to make a mark in the center on the inside so that you can line it up with the center here. And then you are going to put a pin or a clip there. And then just line it up evenly with this. And you shouldn't have to be doing any kind of gathering, or this is a really nice way to have the ruffle look without having the effort of gathering, and also with having a seam allowance that's not very bulky. So I am ready to go apply this. I'm just going to baste it on just really quickly with just a really long straight stitch on my regular machine. And then we'll just treat this piece as one once that's basted on. Okay, so your top you can set aside now, and you want to grab your bottoms pieces. And if you are not lining, then you're just going to put them right sides together. So your side and then sew your crotch. But if you are lining, you're going to want to have cut your back and your front of the bottom out, and we're going to put those right sides together. I like to feel of mine to kind of see which one I like and think is softer, and then of course you can look at it, but the most important thing is that you have the softer side facing you. And then this is right sides together. Now I'm going to put my front wrong side facing the wrong side of my lining, and then I'll put this one right sides down. So my sandwich will look like it has my back of my bottoms with the right side facing up, front of my bottoms right side facing down, then the main front right side facing up, and then the main back right side facing down. And then go ahead and put clips here. Also going to sew this. So notice on this seam, since the back goes farther down, you're gonna have to kind of pick that up to clip these. So make sure that you line that up really nicely before sewing. And anyways, I'm going to go do this with a stretch stitch on my serger, and then I'll be right back for the next. Okay, here are my bottoms, and I've sewn this seam as well as this seam, and I am going to turn them to where the lining is on the inside and then the main is facing out. So now I have my bottoms finished, and then I have my top on here. Well, they're not all the way finished, but I have that part together. I still have to do the leg opening. I'm going to go ahead and baste all of my bottom seams. So I'll baste my leg opening, and then I'll baste this to where I can treat the liner in the main as just one piece. So whenever I put in my waist elastic and attach it to the top and all that, this part is not sliding around. Okay, and now that I have this all basted, I'm going to go ahead and also baste my flounces on. So if you are doing the leg flounce, then you're going to cut this pattern piece out. It's going to be cut on the fold right here, so it looks like this. You want to mark right here your center, and then you open it up, and then you're going to put it right sides together with the center point onto side seam. After you have the clip in your side seam, so you're not going to stretch it, you're just going to kind of make it even around here, like that. And now I'll do it to the back. So when you are applying it right sides together like that, once we put in elastic later, it'll go down when we top stitch it. But for now, it's going to look like that on one leg, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other leg. Putting our middle point onto our side seam. I'm going to finish clipping this. Then once I get this clipped on, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and just baste it. So a long straight stitch, just all here, just to treat it as one. Okay, so I have my flounces applied to the bottom, my flounce on the top, and now I just need to put my top and bottom together. So in order to do that, I'm going to make sure that I have marked, I usually mark it when I'm cutting it out, but if you haven't, you want to mark your center of your front on the bottom and on the top, and your center back on the bottom and the top. And then after you've done that, we're going to put these right sides together. Matching up the center front with the center front of the top and the center front of the bottom. I'm going to match my center back. Now I'm just going to baste this together. I'm going to just do a really quick long stitch right here. And then after I finish that, I can apply my waist elastic. Okay, so this is actually the front of my suit, what it looks like, and this is the back. If I was to turn them right side out, it would look like this, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it to where only my waist is showing, like this. And I'm going to cut out my elastic as shown in the chart. You can use a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch elastic. Either one will work. And I'm just going to overlap it to where it forms a loop. And I'll zigzag back and forth several times right here, just to combine my loop. After I've done that, I'm going to mark my 1/4 points on the elastic. So I'll mark what's halfway and then put my halfway together and mark what's a 1/4 away. And then I will also want to mark that on the suit, and then I will clip it evenly onto here. Okay, so I just wanted to make note with you that when I applied it inside of the bottoms. So you're not doing it on the part that would go outside of the bottoms. You want the elastic to be on the wrong side of the bottoms. And now I'm going to go apply this with a stretch stitch, and apply it with a stretch stitch, or you can do it on your serger. And after this is applied, then we can top stitch it down. I'm making sure it didn't get twisted whenever I pinned it down. So you're going to need to stretch it. You see how the elastic is shorter than this opening. So as I'm applying it, I'm just going to make sure I'm stretching it evenly all the way around. Okay, I have my elastic applied to the inside of my bottoms, and now I can just flip my top up and over like this. And then first I'm going to remove my basting stitches, and then after I remove the basting stitches, I'm just going to fold that into the inside and top stitch it down. So that means that I'm going to be top stitching the bottom of the, I'm going to be top stitching this seam allowance all the way down. So I just want to make sure you don't catch this top and you keep it out of the way as you go all the way around the seam, top stitching it down.